Welcome to the session exploring the impact of nutrition and exercise on your health. Today, our impressive lineup of experts will share their knowledge and experiences on how nutrition and exercise can transform our lives. First, we have our moderator, Corinne Corbett. Corinne L. Corbett, an accomplished media professional and lifestyle expert who has made significant contributions as the editorial director at Black Health Matters. Then we have Dr. C. Nicole, who was the first pediatric obesity champion for the Kaiser Southeast Permanente Group. She is the founder of Wait a Minute Clinic. It's a telehealth practice addressing obesity in both adults and children. Also joining us is Megan Esther RDN, who is a dedicated nutrition professional, certified health and wellness coach, meditation mindfulness teacher, and health instructor at Microsoft right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Megan develops and delivers innovative health and wellness programs tailored to diverse populations, integrating evidence-based health strategies to promote long-term well-being. Finally, you know the guy. We have Deshaun Johnson, also known as the guru of abs. Deshaun's passion for fitness began 11 years ago, and today he focuses on his all-natural dietary supplement line and body sculpting programs that have transformed the physiques of many. We know it transformed his physique, didn't it? All righty.
Welcome to this empowering session, exploring the impact of nutrition and exercise on your health. We know that what we eat and how we move directly impacts our long-term health. You've heard that all day today, haven't we? Have we been paying attention? Are we going to do better? Are we serious about it? Okay. Yet finding the right balance can feel overwhelming. We all know it feels overwhelming. Today, we're bringing together top experts to provide practical, science-based strategies to help you live your healthiest life from childhood to adulthood. And sidebar, what I love today is that people brought their children out. So we're talking about from babies to senior citizens we had in the room today. Before we begin, we want to thank Merck for their continued commitment to community wellness and for partnering with Black Health Matters to create an environment where we can have these important conversations. As our host said, I'm Corinne Corbett, the editorial director of Black Health Matters, and I'm honored to guide today's conversation with a phenomenal panel of health and fitness experts. Joining us today, you've already heard everybody who's on the panel, so I'm gonna skip that part and we can get to the discussion. I'm gonna start with a question for everybody. What's the biggest misconception you have seen between food, exercise, and wellness among the audience you served today? And I want everybody to answer that question. Let's start with Dr. C. Nicole.
So I think for me, as an obesity medicine physician, that the biggest, yep, how about this? Yeah, I think so. There we go. All right. So as an obesity medicine physician, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I get is that diet and exercise are the only two factors that play a role in a person's weight. I get that all the time. And I think because we get that as patients, right? I think a lot of times we go to the doctor, we see it on TV, we read it in magazines, and so we feel like when we want to get healthier, when we want to get skinnier, or we want to change our weight, we're told that you have to change your diet and then exercise more, right? I know I've heard that. I know I've been told that, and I'm gonna keep it real. I know I've tried it, right? I know I don't know if I've joined the gym, because I'm not gonna lie, I hate the gym. So, but if it's for you, it's for you. But I know that I have, created an exercise plan I know I'm gonna keep it 100. I've done a diet plan. I've even done wild diet plans, right? With the intention of getting on the scale and it working, right? I've then gotten up on a Saturday morning, taken all my clothes off, and said to myself, this is supposed to work and I'm supposed to be lighter, right? I'm supposed to be 10 pounds down because that's what somebody told me, right? I tried that diet, that's what it said, right? Lose 30 pounds in 30 days. I know you've heard it. I know I've heard it, right? Right. And then I did it. And then I was not 30 pounds down in 30 days. I wasn't even 3 pounds down in 30 days. And then I was really, really angry because I spent 30 days not eating real food. And that's really, really hard. And so that is a very huge misconception that it is as simple for everyone to just exercise your heart out. Like for me, it was my heart out and then cut out a lot of foods, and that I should be able to expect significant results.
Megan.
Hello, hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. So I am a dietitian. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of a dietitian or a nutritionist. Okay. All right. So good. But there's some people that don't know about dietitians. So I work directly with food. My entire 6, 7 years of education has been around diet and food. So I've worked with clinical patients. I used to work at Emory. Now I'm in the corporate setting. So I work with people all across the world regarding health and wellness. And I think and I work with babies too. I work with everybody. One of the biggest misconceptions I see is weight loss is a direct correlation of good health. So weight loss is a direct correlation of good health. And as we saw, or are currently seeing with keto diets, these GLP-1 medications, even though you're losing weight, it doesn't mean that you are necessarily healthy. It can also mean that you are malnourished. And a lot of times when people are losing weight, they are also losing muscle mass. And so it is a kind of a fake depiction of what is actually going on in your body. And so if you don't have a good diet plan, if you don't have good exercise routine, and then the other thing we really don't talk about is wellness. So a lot of times when I even mention the word wellness, because it's kind of a new thing that we talk about, wellness is not just physical activity. Wellness is not just mental health. Wellness has 8 dimensions, if not more. And so it includes things like financial wellness. So making sure that your finances are good, which I think is an issue in our Black community. Okay. Another thing is spirituality. Making sure that you believe in something higher than yourself. Making sure you believe in yourself. Right? Some other things are relationships. Relationships cause a lot of stress. Relationships can cause a lot of changes in our lives. And so making sure you're in healthy, happy relationships is a part of wellness. And there's so many more jobs, careers, all of these things are a part of wellness. So it's not just a black and white thing. And that's why when we talk about health and we talk about wellness and nutrition, we cannot exclude all these parts. Because in order to be healthy holistically and overall, we have to make sure that we are paying attention to all of these different aspects in our life. So that's the biggest misconception.
All right, good afternoon, everybody, again. When it comes to misconception of exercise, most people don't understand exercising according to their lifestyle. And what I mean by exercise to your lifestyle, most people say, hey, I want to look like you. You don't have the schedule that I do. Most people that work a 9 to 5, you're limited on time. So as me, I'm not limited on time. I can work out multiple times a day. And then average person, if you work a 9 to 5 and you can't go to the gym, oh, I don't have enough time. Well, guess what? As me and the doctor was saying, virtual, like virtual from home. You don't have weights, sodas, canned goods, water bottles, towels. When it comes to diet, lifestyle, most people don't know how to eat on the go. but not knowing, yes, we can go fast food places, but there's alternatives. Like one thing my girlfriend does when we go, I'm gonna get a burger. She's gonna get a lettuce wrap. A lot of people don't know that. You see what I'm saying? When you go to these restaurants, there's alternatives that we can dig into, but we go for what's convenient and faster versus taking the time to minimize those mistakes. Now we go back to exercise, right? How many people here haven't exercised other than a day, haven't exercised within the last 30 days? Raise your hand. Okay. All right. So we're 30 days. So when most people come to exercises, it's about learning how to start. The most basic thing you can do is just what? Simple walk and stretch. That doesn't do anything. You're actually exercising every day. You just mentally think that just because you're not going to the gym, you're not exercising. Walking out of here, walking up those steps, or walking up that ramp, that's exercising. You see what I'm saying? When you get up out your bed, everything you do is range of motion. Bend, sit, stand, breathe. Guys, everybody take a deep breath in. Put your hand on your stomach. Take a deep breath in. Now, what I want you to do, exhale till you can't exhale anymore. Let your air out. What did your core do? Tight. That is what we call a core contraction. When you're sitting up straight, guess what you're doing? You're contracting your core. You use your core every day. So going back to the misconception is learning to understand according to your lifestyle, which is the same thing with dieting. See, me, I have weakness when it comes to sweets, cookies, pies. I'm gonna tell you, that's just me. But having a good accountability partner will help you understand those things right there, if that makes sense.
All right, so we're going to give practical steps. I think that right now, for each area, if people can leave here with practical steps for each area of nutrition that you guys work with, that would be, for the 16 minutes we have left, the best thing, wouldn't it? If you can leave here today with some practical steps that you could do. So, Dr. Season, what are practical steps? Because especially with someone struggling with the repetition of gaining, losing, what is the thing that they could start today not doing or doing that could start them on the path of journey to thinking about losing weight differently, or
That's a hard one. Okay.
or
So, one of the things that I think we struggle with a great deal is understanding that most of us have changed our relationship with food. We stopped looking at food for nutrition a great while ago, meaning instead of looking at food for what it can do for us in terms of fiber, protein, vitamins, we looked at food almost as how sexy it is, right? Right, and that's just because like commercials, right? Have you ever looked at how a commercial makes food almost pop out of the TV, right? It smells good, it looks good, right? And you look at like this commercial for this burger and you know, like, real talk, it looks disgusting. Like if you really think about it, this burger that has bacon and cheese and onion rings and all the things, like when you really break it down, but it looks like it smells fantastic and it looks fantastic. It makes your mouth water, right? But it has changed the way we think about food, right? We use food for comfort. We eat food because we're bored. We eat food because we're lonely. And we have learned to eat breakfast and a snack and lunch and a snack and then dinner. And some of us eat a snack again, maybe even dessert. So one of the most practical things that I think we can take away is stop thinking that just because our moms and our grandmas and our aunties and everybody else said that we have to eat all of these meals all day long, right? We've all heard that. Gotta eat breakfast, gotta leave the house. You don't have to eat all of these meals all day long, because the reality is we do not work and exude that many calories all day long. And it is actually okay to just wait until your body says, I'm hungry. And if that means you didn't eat lunch, that's okay. And if that means you skipped a snack, that's okay too. And your mom will not get mad and your grandma won't know. But we don't have to eat as many meals just because that is what we were told to do. We do not have to eat 3+ snacks times a day, especially big ones. So I think that's a start.
Well, I just want to piggyback off that real quick and just kind of just clarify just a little bit more. So when we talk about meal planning, right, you can have 3 meals a day, but we want to make sure the portions of those meals are fine, right? We want to make sure those meals are balanced. So we have our protein, we have our complex carbohydrates, our whole grains, our vegetables. We want to make sure that they are well-rounded, right? So if you have a well-rounded, well-portioned for you, because nutrition is a very personalized thing, the person next to you on either side is probably not going to have the same nutritional needs as you. Okay, so try not to look at everybody else as the same. And that's why it's important to see a dietitian or someone that is in the field that is an expert on looking at you individually and saying what you need. Okay, but if you are eating food and the portions are huge, yes, you do not need to do that. But in order to keep our blood sugar consistent, we do need to make sure that our bodies are well nourished throughout the day. If we go too long without food, it's going to drop our blood sugar. If we eat too consistently back to back to back, it's going to raise our blood sugar and keep it there. And we know that that is what's going to lead us to prediabetes. We know that's going to lead us to other conditions and diseases, and we're just not going to feel good overall. Okay, so make sure that you are looking at your food for you and then listening to your body, right? Mindful eating. That means slowing down. That means chewing your food. I think we eat so fast these days that half the food is coming out just the way it looked when we put it in. So make sure you are chewing your food. And then stop scrolling on your phone. Stop sitting in front of the TV while you eat, because you cannot pay attention to what your body is telling you when you're doing all these things at one time. And so that was one of the biggest things that I share with the people that I work with. Try not to put yourself down, right? We are all going through life for the first time. So we have to learn, we have to adapt, we have to know what's good for us. And health is not easy. It is not easy at all. And if you are looking for something that is easy, it's a good chance that whatever you are doing is going to be reversed not too long after.
And I
Okay.
want to add something. If you have a chronic disease, some of the things that we're saying may be different for you.
Yeah, but again, that's why it's personal,
Right.
right? So make sure that you have a care team with physicians and dietitians and people that are going to help you, because we can't do it alone. And we also cannot rely on social media.
Well,
I have seen so many horror stories. I have talked to so many people that have done things from social media, all these gurus and coaches and people that are just going based on their own personal experience, and you cannot do that. So make sure that you are talking to people that are actually certified, licensed to talk about these issues. There's so much more, but I'm gonna stop it right there.
No, and she actually touched on a lot of things that I can piggyback off of, especially the social media. I tell a lot of people that when you look on social media, you're seeing someone that did something for themselves. You have to understand your body. But first and foremost, I always tell someone, consult with your primary physician or doctor first and foremost before you put anything in your body. Just because that person lost a bunch of pounds or whatever doesn't mean it's going to benefit you the same way. You have to understand your body, because a lot of people ask me, hey, I need to get rid of this. When's the last time you detox? What are you putting in your body? Are you willing to make those necessary sacrifices to swap out the right foods? Like if you like beef, cool. There's leaner options, grass-fed, bison. Like me, I know my body. If I have too much sugar, too much salt, I'm going to start to retain water. A lot of times we turn up, but we don't tune up. It's like a car. It's not going to run without oil or gas, right? But if you put the wrong gas in it, what it's going to do? So when you put the wrong foods in your body, what do your body do? So what goes in must what? Comes out. So one thing I try to tell people is that you have to diet, detox, but also, once again, be accountable. And what I'm going to do, because I know we're giving you guys a lot of information, I'm going to give you guys, everybody that's online and here, I'm going to give you an at-home workout, nutrition plan, grocery plan. I'm going to give you guys some information because all we need is guidance. But at the same time, this is information you have to study, learn, and apply. I'm just giving you a guide. I'm not giving you a plan. Let me say that once again. I'm giving you a what? Guide. You take that guide, you learn it, and you apply it.
Right. Now I'm going to say, what holds us back? So that is the key. So now Deshaun has given you the guide. So then what stops us? So, what stops us? So,
Hold on,
So-
wait. So I heard the word lazy somewhere around here. I heard, what else did I hear? Excuses, what, no motivation. Okay. Being afraid.
Fear.
Right. Yes.
So
So a lot of these things are one internal, right? And so there is an underlying issue why you feel afraid, why you feel lazy. And a lot of it with laziness is not having a plan that's good for you, right? You're trying to do everything and anything you can, and it's just not good for you, right? So I tell my members, hey, it's not necessarily that you're lazy because you are responsible for so many things in your life that you keep up with. So this is just the same thing. You need to put it into your life every single day, just like you go to your job, just like you make sure your kids are picked up and on time for school, right? So we just need to work together to figure out how those little pieces, maybe it's 5 minutes here, 30 minutes here, maybe you go after work for 10 minutes. Over the span of the day, that's what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of workout? So we just need to figure out what works for you. But I will say another thing about excuses is I think we see the end, and that's where we want to begin. Does that make sense?
yes. Yes.
Right? We see the end. We see the 30 pounds down. We see the 40 pounds down. And that's where we want to start. And when we don't see that in a week, we're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. This is not for me. Let me just go back to doing what I was doing before.
can I?
Go ahead.
And it's one thing. Get rid of your scale. Scales, that's your number one enemy. Every day. Ooh, did I lose a pound? I didn't lose one. The next day, I didn't lose it. Find you something that you could not get in. Use that as your motivation. It's a difference between losing weight and body fat. I tell most people, focus on your body fat versus trying to drop your weight, but that's another story for another day.
So I also think one of the other things that holds us back is a lack of information. So I think when you talk about weight, that is one thing, but when you talk about obesity, right? Obesity is where we're talking about health. And stay with me because a lot of us don't like the word obesity, but I use it on purpose because obesity is our health, right? Obesity is where we're talking about the relationship of our weight and how it leads to diabetes and high blood pressure and our cholesterol. And all of us don't know the difference between an A1C and a fasting glucose or random glucose, right? How many of us know what number is the cutoff between pre-diabetes and diabetes? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, so the number for diagnosing diabetes is 6.5, and the range for pre-diabetes is 5.7 up to 6.5. How many of us know of what range of months is your A1C a value of? 3. I didn't hear it from everyone though, right? So some of what holds us back is a lack of understanding and knowledge. And so sometimes when we go to the doctor, right, we're prideful people. We know things. We're smart. We're educated, right? And so sometimes, especially when they don't look like us, and we're sitting there and they're talking fast, and they're saying, you got to diet, you got to exercise, and I need you to do better, and you got to do this, and then I need you to get your colonoscopy, and then you need to get your mammogram, and you got to do that, and they're spitting off, and they're telling you all these things, and they're saying that you got your A1C here, and this, and then they're talking to you, and they're saying this, and they're kind of maybe even talking down to you a little bit, and then they say something that you didn't quite understand, right? Some of us don't always feel exactly comfortable saying, hey, wait, Dr. Such and Such, I didn't really understand what you just said. Can you please stop and explain that to me? And because I didn't stop and ask for an explanation, when I walked out, I don't really understand the importance of making a change for my health because I don't understand the relationship of what it is I'm doing and what change I need to make. Right? And maybe I did ask, but maybe that doctor didn't really explain it in a way that I understood. And then they explained it, and then they said, well, blah, 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 blah. And I said to myself, well, he said something, but I still don't understand. But I'm not going to let this person know that I didn't understand because then they're going to look at me like I'm stupid. And I know I'm not stupid, so I'm going to leave this alone. Right? So sometimes it's a lack of understanding that holds us back. And if that's the case, we need to, for ourselves, for our family, for our children, for whatever, we need to make it a priority to educate ourselves so we understand why it is important to make those changes.
So this could have gone on for an hour. Because this is a lot of information, right, y'all?
Oh, can I
So,
add one little thing? Just one really.
Really, really quickly.
Just really quick. So with A1C, sometimes we don't get that for a while or at all. So if you get your blood work done, just like you did today, if you see the glucose on there, the glucose number, if it's over 110, that still means that you're pre-diabetic. Okay? I just wanted to make that clear because sometimes you don't get that number.
Okay.
So don't-
So what I'm going to say is really quickly is that what we don't do is put ourselves down. One step is a step, y'all. Deshaun's giving you a plan. Resolve to make a step. Can we resolve to make a step? Put your hand up if you resolve to make a step.
They get a plan.
Is a plan? You getting a plan? You gonna make a step?
They get a
Next
smoothie
year,
recipe, a
When
smoothie.
Rosalind comes, she says, did anybody make a step? You say yes. And then you come to me and you tell me your story, right? All right.
No, so what we're gonna do, since everybody registered, I'm gonna get it to the BHM team, and we'll see how to email it out to all to everyone that registered. And real quick, before you leave, you guys know how it was cold outside? How many of you had to warm your car up this morning? Raise your hand. I need you to do that same thing for your body. That's how you get started. Start by tonight, before you go to bed, take 5 minutes to stretch. When you wake up, take 5 minutes to stretch. That's how we're gonna get started, all right, deal?